Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Welcome back to another official Xbox Magazine demo disc showcase. We have been covering every OXM disc up to this point, diving into every bit of content. Today we are covering OXM Demo Disc 10, which came out in September 2002. This disc is chock full of great trailers and videos, and I'm excited to cover it. If you enjoy this video, be sure to check out my previous videos in this series, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to keep up with future editions of the series. All footage was captured off of original Xbox hardware, and I want to thank my YouTube channel members for their support. But without further ado, let's jump into this one. The first section we are going to talk about is Xbox at E3. This collection includes a ton of Xbox exclusives that were coming out at the time. They're showing off a lot of trailers from E3, and I'm sure this got a lot of people hyped up. Today's first trailer is for Blinx the Time Sweeper, which was coming out in the following month. This is the mascot platformer from R-Tune and is an Xbox classic. It's exclusive to the Xbox, and this trailer shows off the catchy music, great character design, and the innovative time controls. It's an excellent start to this section. Hey, this is Editor Camp Xbox hopping in really quickly. I've uploaded this video multiple times and a whole bunch of different songs from trailers keep getting copyright struck. I'm unsure if it's false or if the trailer music is actually from pieces of music, but because of that, there are multiple trailers here, just like the one coming up, that do not have the original soundtrack. So please check out the comments where I do link every trailer that does have music covered up for it, and there you can see which trailers do have new music put onto it. Thank you for understanding. Next is a trailer for the much delayed and divisive Xbox exclusive Brute Force, which was getting released in May 2003. Honestly, it's not well remembered nowadays, but the hype for this one was insane. The trailer does a good job of displaying why that was. The dynamic switching of characters with multiple powers was a fresh and exciting idea. It also looks great, and the character designs are really neat. It's a solid trailer. We have a trailer here for Crimson Sky's High Road to Revenge, an arcade flight game that we get to see some early footage of in this tiny preview. This one was meant to come out around this time, but was pushed way off until the end of 2003 to fix up gameplay. It's crazy to think because this game looks very similar to the final product. Next is a trailer for Kakuto Chojin, a fighting game that would be released a few months later in November of 2002. This was shown off before, but only as a technical demonstration for the Xbox, but from the demonstration, they pushed it into a fully fledged fighting game. The footage here is reminiscent of 3D fighters like Dead or Alive 3, and it definitely gets you hyped up with its great look. We have a fun trailer for this Xbox exclusive game, Kung Fu Chaos. It's a fun little party game that I really enjoy. The trailer shows off its fun style and party gameplay, and this one would be released in February of 2003. Unfortunately, this one has Kung Fu fighting by Carl Douglas the whole time, so I can't play the original audio here, but check the links below for an unedited version. At the end of 2002, Xbox Live was on the horizon, and MechAssault was one of those games that was hyped up with its debut. The trailer is a knockout with some awesome narration and great action. I'm sure people were clamoring to get online with their Xbox, and this game trailer helped their interest reach maximum levels.
This world was green, much like my own, before they burnt it black. We came, bringing fire and retribution. Our footsteps will shake the ground. And they will tremble with fear. Want this war, but peace will never come until every last one of them has fallen.
Next is a trailer for NBA Inside Drive 2003, the Xbox exclusive basketball game coming out in October 2002. The graphics look good, and since it's a basketball game, there's really not much else to say. We have a trailer for another sports game, NFL Fever 2003. This game actually came out in August already, but is shown here because it was getting Xbox Live support. It was used for beta testers when Xbox Live was ready to launch. The trailer is fine and it shows off football gameplay, and I'm sure it was exciting for sports fans to play this one online very soon. We have a gorgeous trailer for Panzer Dragoon Orta next. This would get a December 2002 release in Japan, and wouldn't come out in the States until January 2003. This trailer shows off the beauty of this game with its excellent visual style and sweeping music. I still think it's a great trailer today, and I can only imagine how cool it looked then. I was so surprised to see an early trailer for Psychonauts here, a game that wouldn't be released until much later in 2005 since the development for this game was very troubled. It's fun to see the only on Xbox logo for this one, since it would become multi-platform. That's due to the developer Double Fine's falling out with Microsoft. It's a story of a team unwilling to listen to corporate heads and wanting to stick to their artistic vision, and one of the guys at Microsoft, Ed Freeze, really trusting in their vision. But unfortunately, he left, and that allowed Microsoft to just dump the project. It did end up getting picked up later, at least. But it is a very interesting story that deserves its own video, but here we have a fun relic of the past.
I have to warn you, young cadet. You're about to step into a living nightmare.
Concentrate.
No.
Next is a Quantum Redshift trailer released the same month as this disc. I talked about this one recently and I loved it. The trailer shows off the fast driving and solid electronic score. we have a great trailer for Shenmue II. This one had already come out in Japan and Europe in 2001 for the Sega Dreamcast, but it never came out here in North America on the Dreamcast. That's why the Only on Xbox logo is put on here, because it was an Xbox exclusive here in America. I'm sure it was a treat to get this game here in October of 2002 finally. I'm sure it was a treat to finally get this game here in October of 2002. Funny enough, the Xbox version would make it to Europe, but never to Japan. This trailer has a good cinematic approach with some great music.
I really need to find young Dazu. I must avenge my father's death.
Cut it out, guys!
You must not succumb to the evil path.
I shall take your power for the Chio.
And now we have a gameplay trailer for Feng Fists of the Lotus. This one wouldn't be released until March of 2003, and was a much hyped video game with Mortal Kombat co-creator John Tobias at the helm. This trailer is purely gameplay footage, which I think is the best way to sell a game. Next is an early trailer for what was at this point just called Tork, and it would later get Prehistoric Punk tacked onto its title. This one started as a Microsoft exclusive that wouldn't be released until 2005. Much like Psychonauts, this game would have issues and would be dropped by Microsoft after Freeze left the company. Ubisoft would buy and release this one, but it would stay an Xbox exclusive through them. The gameplay shown here is solid and looks similar to the final product, except the camera is much closer than the pulled back camera approach for the final game. We have another Xbox Live launch title, Unreal Championship, which came out in November of 2002. It's another anticipated title and is such a fun release. This trailer shows off the great gameplay action with fun narration.
Their civilization was conquered. Their world was taken away. Their freedom was but a faded memory. And under the bloodthirsty rule of a vile empire, the tournaments were waged with a ferocity as had never before been seen. For the vanquished race, right must be restored. For the vanquished race, a new champion must rise. Whether battling alone in a deathmatch, or as a member of an online clan defending hard-won territory, the champion will require supreme skills, as he will be tested as none have ever been tested before. Traversing a world of hostile terrain and unexplored levels, he will be pitted against all manner of competitors. And he will be armed with weapons of untold power as he rises from the ranks of a common fighter, to one day wear the armor of the Emperor's Praetorian Guard, and on that day, the vanquished will be victorious.
The final trailer for this section is for Whacked. This came out in October 2002 and was an exclusive party game with Xbox Live functionality. This trailer is absolutely insane and a little risque. It shows off the game's absolute insanity well and has a great aesthetic.
In the lead. Charity is holding on to the lead. Whoa, watch out! Wow, Lucy! And Lucy wins it!
I dominate this game.
Moving into the feature section, we have part 4 of the Halo Developers Commentary series. Here we have one of Bungie's founders, Alex Seropian, and Halo producer Hamilton Chu. I enjoyed this talk quite a bit because these two go much more in depth about the creation of Halo from its inception to its release.
Hi, so my name's Alex Seropian. I'm a founder of Bungie.
Hi, I'm Hamilton Chu. I'm producer on Halo.
This is Halo. We've been working on this game for a little over 3 years now. This is a project we started after Myth of Fallen Lords came out, and it's evolved a ton in that amount of time. It started as it was a really small team of a couple of engineers basically working on some technology that they were going to use for an RTS game, and at some point in those early stages. They wanted to go back to some of our Bungie roots, like Marathon, and started working on what they could do with combining some of the stuff we learned on Myth with some of the action elements of a game like Marathon. And that was sort of the first part of Halo's evolution. In the years that followed, a lot of things happened where, like recently, we got acquired by Microsoft, so we had an opportunity to refocus and move from the PC world to the console world, which is something we've been interested in doing for a long time. That's had a real profound effect on the way we think about the game, and the way that we design the game, and a lot of the decisions that we've made recently. It's really given us the opportunity to focus on making the game graphically really rich and play really well. I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff we've learned along the way too with process. This is definitely the biggest team that we've ever had working on a game. It started off, like I said, really small, and it now encompasses all of Bungie.
Like Alex said, this is by far the largest team and project that Bungie's ever done. The story in Bungie games has always been a really big thing for us and something that our fans really appreciated. So it's always a big part of everything we get into. I think we used it to a really good effect in our first level.
Yeah, speaking of effects, you see the sun coming through the trees right there?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think everybody else in their commentaries have talked about how cool that is.
But did they talk about Bernie? Because Bernie did that. Jason calls
Yes.
him the little monster. He's just a coding maniac.
It's all about having coding maniacs.
Yeah.
They're
You know,
really
we had
helpful.
a party last week at Jason's house. Bernie showed up with his laptop and he coded the whole time.
That's part of why we like Bernie so much.
That's what makes him a little monster.
That and the food he eats. There's some more cool effects. So this is A30, a level that Marcus Leto did, our art director. It's really cool. The outside vistas in Halo, I think, they're among the best that I've seen in any game.
As are the interiors that we're seeing here. These are pretty cool as well.
This one's done by Chris Barrett.
That's pretty cool because Chris didn't actually start off working on Halo. He was working on a different project.
That's true, but we're really glad he did some stuff for us because this interior stuff and the snow outside stuff that you see later, it's all Chris, and it looks cool. And it's really different from the other stuff we've done.
It's very different.
So it really added some good variety and showed us some stuff that we could do with our engine that we didn't know before. Looks like we're running through all the weapons here. The weapons were designed by Rob McLeese.
Rob was actually one of the first people that we hired at Bungie. He's been here for 6 years. He's really into guns.
Yeah, and he just got married, which is kind of weird.
He married somebody who works here too.
Yeah.
A woman, Lorraine.
Yes, we have a woman.
She's married though.
Yes, yes. And now it looks like we're running through the characters here. Here's the Jackal. A while ago, you could shoot through his shield pretty easy, but then we made his shield really fairly impenetrable.
Yeah,
that made it really nasty.
That's a stealth lead. That
Man, that
really
stealth
cool.
effect's really cool. That's Bernie again.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, Bernie did a lot of the cool shaders that are in the game. This hunter character is really cool.
He's got these spines that they'll twiddle when he's nervous. And he's got this cool neck that you can see when he dies.
He's got a real soft spot on him. You could actually kill him one shot with the pistol
shot in the back. Bink.
But that's not to say he's a wuss or anything, because
No.
he could kill you real
Like
easy.
this.
Yeah. So this was sort of some of the outside stuff that Hamilton was talking about. Chris Barrett did. I was going to say, like, that's one of the cool things about Bungie is we've got this real open environment, and like we can grab somebody like Chris Barrett and Dan, who are both working on different projects, and we can sort of enlist them into Halo, and they can contribute in a really important way like this. That's really cool. Damn, snow is cool.
Yeah, maybe we should actually talk about what's going on the screen.
The story in our games have always been really important, and like when we decided to announce the game, basically we tried to tell a story with a cinematic. That's when we went to Macworld and Steve Jobs sort of unveiled Halo for the first time. That got us a lot of mileage out of that trailer that we did for that announcement.
I guess you're getting to see a lot of the vehicles here. Vehicles are a pretty fundamental part of Halo. I feel like it's what adds a lot to the whole first-person shooter experience, and it adds a lot to your combat experience.
Really makes the game unique. That's one of the things that we've tried to do in all the games that we've made. Like if you look back through our gameography, like, you know, Myth really was the first strategy game that had real 3D in it.
Yeah, something that you referred to before with the engineers and the artists working closely together. I think it's worth talking about that again. I think that's really a big part of why our stuff can look so good, is because the artists and the engineers really do talk to each other a lot, and more than that, they each understand the process that the other party is going through, and the issues that the other party is dealing with, and that really lets them do a lot. The artists understand the tools such that they can take it farther than the engineers envision it going, and the engineers understand the artist's needs so that they can come up with new tools for them to use that the artists wouldn't have suggested themselves. So a lot of the cool effects that you see here is a lot of different things working together, the shaders and the light maps and the bump maps.
Do you know we did Marathon with like 5 guys?
Is that so? Really?
Yeah.
5 guys. And is that including you? Because then it's really like...
Next is a first look at Timesplitters 2, which would be released a few months after this disc. It's a fast-paced trailer with some weird editing choices, though there is some great gameplay shown here. We have another first look with Turok Evolution. This came out the same month this disc was released, and I'm sure at the time another Turok game was highly anticipated, and the gameplay here looks fine. It's got dinos and shooting, which is all you need. Next up is something completely different for one of these discs. It's an interview with Warren Spector. I imagine they got him there to talk about Deus Ex Invisible War, but they also got his thoughts on the gaming industry's future, and decided to include it with this disc. Warren is a famed game developer who worked on games in the Ultima franchise, and most famously the original Deus Ex. Warren here has a lot of interesting insights into how game design should be more open-ended and allow players to discover gameplay, and also how PC gaming and console gaming are merging and there won't be so much of a divide anymore. And I love that he truly believes in games being an art form. This is a really great watch.
We want to change the way people think about games, not just gamers, but parents and teachers and everybody. We think that games are a significant part of our culture, our worldwide culture. It's not just, a pastime for kids anymore. Games are mainstream entertainment, more so every single day. But we're at this kind of tipping point right now where, I always hate to say this because I love comic books, but we could go the way of the comic book. We could become marginalized and, just become entertainment for kids now and forevermore. Or we can take our place with movies and literature and television and, more, I can't believe I just described television as a respected medium. But anyway, we can take our place as real significant adult entertainment. And I think in order for us to do that, we have to stop looking to the past. We have to stop looking to, our old Dungeons and Dragons campaigns and stop looking to previous games for inspiration and start thinking about what we can do that no other medium can do. The other thing that's really interesting to me is the academics are starting to pay attention to us, I'm doing a lot of work with people from MIT and Northwestern and USC and UCal Irvine and, DigiPen and Full Sail. There are schools that are now teaching game studies. Who would have thought? And that sounds horrible and oh my God, people are going to start talking about semiotics or something at some point, but it's really kind of cool because those guys are like the cultural gatekeepers. They're the ones who decide this is important, this is not. They're the ones who are going to be going to Joe Lieberman in Congress and saying, no, this is not just about violence. This is not just about, using sex to sell games. There's something else going on here. This is a part of our culture. It's important. Back off. I don't buy the argument that there are console gamers and PC gamers. I don't buy it for 1 second. Here's the deep, dark secret. I played one PC game from start to finish last year. I played so many more hours of console games last year than I did PC games, it's not even funny. Everybody in the studio has a rockin' PC on his or her desk, and we all have console games at home. Okay, the audiences are coming together. The kinds of games we're making are directly in line with what PC gamers want, what console gamers want, what gamers want. In most games, what happens is, a player says, "Wasn't it cool when that monster burst through the window and you got out your BFG and you killed it? Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, it was cool when I did that too." In our games, what happens is, someone will say, "Wasn't it cool when that monster burst through that window and I got out my BFG and I killed it?" And someone will say, "Monster? What monster? I never saw a monster. I'll have to go back and try that again, a different way, and see if I can get the monster to burst through the window." Our games are all about your experience being unique. The most validating thing that's happened in the last couple of years was the release of Grand Theft Auto 3. That game came out on the PS2, and it's coming to every other platform in the world now, obviously, and completely validated everything we were trying to do. It validated not just in general terms that players want a deep simulation that they can interact with however they want, but it validated the idea that console gamers are as into this as PC gamers always have been. So we think we're in the right place at the right time with the right idea, and our whole manifesto is built around the idea of creating great immersive simulation games. We don't think of ourselves as shooters or action games or role-playing games or anything except immersive simulation games. What we try to do is we try to set up a cool overall story. In Deus Ex, you're J.C. Denton, Deus Ex 1. You're J.C. Denton, you've got a brother Paul, you work for UNATCO, you go on a bunch of missions. Oh my God, they've turned against me. That kind of storytelling stuff we own. That belongs to us. But the minute-to-minute gameplay, how do you respond to UNATCO turning against you? How do you respond to the fact that the bad guys might not be the bad guys? That's all up to you. There are two guys standing there. Do you kill them? Do you sneak past them? Do you talk to them? That's all up to you. And we think that player-controlled, free-form sort of gameplay is really powerful. It's what games do that no other medium does. And it's kind of the foundation of everything we try to do in this studio. When you play a game, it shouldn't be about how clever the designer was. It shouldn't be about, oh my God, what a cool puzzle. Wasn't that neat the way the designer created something and I solved it? It should be about you in a game world, interacting with that game world the way you want, making a plan, executing it, and you get to be creative. Players get to be creative. The thing that gets everybody in the studio excited is when players collaborate with us in the telling of a story. The world is ready for it. The key is making the gameplay accessible, which we now know we can do. And so, you know, a year from now, we rule the world. That's our master plan, you know?
It's not an OXM demo disc without a top 10 plays of the month. There's nothing too wild going on in this top 10 except that Feng shows up, even though that game had a little bit till its final release. Moving on into the extra content section, we have Mace Griffin Bounty Hunter. We have a trailer that's a little cheesy but fun, and this game was actually originally meant as an Xbox exclusive, but would be multi-platform by its 2003 release.
Mace Griffin, the High Council finds you guilty as charged. The sentence will be 10 years. The place of incarceration will be Kaseth Penal Colony.
Didn't you listen to a word I said? We were set up. They were waiting for us.
You will accept the Council's decision. Take him away!
You are in restricted space. If you maintain your current course, we will open fire.
In space. On land. Across the galaxy. I will hunt them down.
Here's a trailer for an Xbox exclusive snowboarding game called Transworld Snowboarding. I feel like Amped overshadowed this series on the console, and it's surprising that Xbox just had so many snowboarding exclusives. I haven't played this one yet, but the trailer tells me it might be better than Amped, and it's one that I need to check out. Unfortunately, this is another one with a music track that I did have to remove, but check those links for the full trailer. Next, we have the video verdict section, where they take the smaller review section of their reviews from the magazine and put it onto the disc. They also include the reviews from the last disc here, and I won't be going over those. I do think it's a bit odd because on the older reviews, they had a ton of information on the side, and here they just list the name of the game, which feels a little lazy. But I will go ahead and read through each one of these new reviews that were added. Burnout got an 8.0 out of 10. Graphics. What renderware lacks in realism, it makes up for in sheer speed. Immersion. Convincing road designs and lots of realistic traffic. Sound. Great sound effects paired with terrible music. Design. The game's been perfectly tuned and honed. Good. Fast and furious. Retro appeal, modern speed. Bad. First level deceptively poor, frustratingly hard later on. Perplexing. No system link support? James Bond 007 Agent Under Fire got a 7.9 out of 10. Graphics. Ordinary, except weirdly in driving modes where things get better. Immersion. Some levels are better than others. Sound. Bond music and decent commentary. Design. Can be patchy, but mostly cool. Good. Varied, colorful, and fun. Cool multiplayer modes. Bad. Easy and short. Some objectives are obtuse. Perplexing. No system link support? SSX Tricky got an 8.7 out of 10. Graphics. Bright, colorful, and cartoony, if it weren't for that darn choppiness. Immersion. The world of SSX comes complete with cheering audiences, trash-talking competitors, and awesome innovative track layouts. Yeah, we were pretty drawn in. Sound. Great interactive music's complemented with just the right amount of well-done supporting sound effects. Design. All the disparate elements, speed, snowboarding, punching people, have been perfectly blended together to create an enthralling, white-knuckle racing experience, and hey, the trick mode is fun too. Good. Great level design. Tons of stuff to unlock. Better looking than the PS2 version. Bad. No Xbox extras. Some slowdown, not much, but it's still there. Perplexing. Why does an Xbox version of a PS2 game still drop frames of animation? World Series Baseball got an 8.8 out of 10. Graphics. Quite simply the best looking baseball game ever made for any system ever. Immersion. Fast and deep gameplay combines with great animation and graphics to really immerse the player. Sound. Sound effects are great and play-by-play is good, if repetitive. Design. Finally a baseball game that does the Xbox proud. Good. Animations are superb and affect gameplay in the right ways. A great simulation engine as well, fun and realistic head-to-head play. Bad. Almost impossible to walk someone, could use more hit variety. Perplexing. Why do some of the faces look so freaky? Moving into the demo section, we have the Dead or Alive 3 bonus pack returning once again. They were really going all out to get people those costumes. Be sure to check out my older episode where I go over the costumes piece by piece. The first new demo of the bunch is Gunmetal, an Xbox exclusive for a little bit before it got a PC release in 2003. This game was already out by this release and offered you a level to fly and fight in. Unfortunately, I never played this one, which I regret now because I had a ton of fun with this demo. It's fast and has so many weapons to choose from. I love how quickly it went by and how powerful you are. The demo did what it was meant to do and sold me on this game.
Check your targets.
The second demo here is for NCAA Football 2003, showing off the college football game of that year. You only get to play one exhibition match, and it feels like a normal football game to me. I wasn't too wowed here, but it works. Maybe a more seasoned college football fan can give you a more nuanced view of this, but I do think it would work for the right people.
Third and 5 coming up. Ball on the 36-yard line. Texas comes out with 5 receivers. Throws it out there. Swatted away. And the safety got a hand on it that time.
The final demo here is for Timesplitters 2. You get to play the game's opening level, which is such a great riff on classic GoldenEye levels with the same gameplay design. I like this level a lot, and it's a great showcase for the game. The gameplay all works, and the first level has such a substantial amount of stuff to do that I'm sure it got people right in the mood for another great first-person shooter on the console. Alright, well that wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like. Be sure to comment below with what your favorite part of this was. I would love to hear from you. Subscribe to keep up with the retro Xbox content. And I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.